Karen mistakes me for a bank employee, proceeds to attempt to rob the bank, and gets arrested. Background: about 20 years ago I worked for a company that made software for banks and credit unions. Two smaller regional banks merged and we were called in to upgrade all the branches for the same version of the software and to point the network to the new consolidated bank. This happens after hours to not interfere day with day operations. The whole process took several hours on site at each branch. So we were sure we would have plenty of time to roll things back if anything went wrong. We started a few hours before the bank closed. This would give us time to fix anything before the bank opened the next day. The process started with a meeting to go over the plan for the branch so the bank staff, some of who would be helping with the process because my team doesn't have complete access to the bank systems. This is a small bank. There are 4 offices, a conference room, and space for like 5 tellers up front. It turned out it was payday for some large employer or something, but just as I started my meeting with the branch manager, the 2 staff from my company, and the 2 bank employees who would be opening the bank the following day, the bank starts to get busy. The meeting lasts about 30 minutes and all the while the line and waiting area are filling up, so I rush through the details for the bank manager and release him, then the 2 opening staff. I leave the details for my team last. My team knew the process, they just needed to know what computers to start on first. Anyway, I dismissed the bank staff and they go to help the rush up front. I continue my meeting with my team and then send them out to get some food since it looks like the bank might not close on time anyway. I head over to the bank manager's office and immediately a woman ducks under the rope line and makes straight for the office and tries to follow me inside. I didn't see her step out of line, so I at first thought maybe she was a bank employee. As soon as I turned around she said something like, "It's about damn time, I've been waiting for half an hour." This was bullshit because we started the meeting at 4:30 and it wasn't even 5 o'clock yet. I tried to tell her she was mistaken, I don't work at the bank, but she cut me off, not even paying attention to what I was saying. She plopped herself down in one of the chairs and said, "I need to make a withdrawal." I replied, "Sorry, I can't help you with that, you'll need to wait in line." "No, I've already waited for an hour." "I know you can do it, you've done it before." She slaps her ID and bank card on the desk and says, "Just open the damn drawer and give me $2,000. I can't. I don't. I could even finish explaining I don't work there. "You've done it before. Give me $2,000. I can't. That's it." At this point, she's raised her voice and is now standing. I assumed she was going to leave and I went to open the door, but she pushed me back and yelled, "I'm not leaving this office until you give me $2,000. She then picked up a screwdriver out of the toolkit sitting on the desk and starts prying at the desk drawer. I push her back and she swings at me with the screwdriver. I step back, but she scratches my arm, tearing my shirt, and goes back to prying at the drawer. I've had it at this point. I'm thinking she's nuts and I need to do something. I look out the office and it looks like everyone is busy and think maybe they didn't notice her yelling. It looks like she's not making any progress on the desk, it's too sturdy. I try a calmer approach and try to get her attention. She stops for a moment and looks at me like she forgot I was there. "Are you going to get me my money or what?" she snapped. "I'm not an employee of the bank." "You were just in the meeting with the other employees." "Yes, but..." "Then get me my money or get out of my way," she interrupted before pushing me again. I finally had it. I looked out the window and it seemed like all the bank employees were calm and quiet. I thought, if I'm just going to stand here and watch her rob the bank. She was a big woman, but I played hockey against bigger, so even if she had a few pounds on me I was pretty sure I could at least slow her down. I took a step back, brought my shoulder down, then with a step and a short lunge I shoulder checked her into the brick wall behind her. She smacked her head on the wall and gave a short, as I knocked the wind out of her, and then she collapsed to the floor unconscious. I watched her suspiciously for a moment, thinking that was easier than I thought. Why didn't I do that earlier? Then I thought, maybe I hurt her, so I knelt to check on her. She was breathing. I shouldn't move her. The screwdriver flew across the office, so I just stepped over her and walked out into the bank. About that time I heard sirens, lots of them. A short while later some police came into the bank. Having just assaulted a woman leaving her unconscious, I put my hands up. The police walked over, looked at me, then walked into the office. I turned around and the bank staff was pointing at the office where I just left. They triggered the silent alarm as soon as she yelled at me to give her money. They moved the other customers to the conference room and were following protocols to comply and not interfere. The result was she woke up to being handcuffed. She was seen by an EMT briefly before being arrested for armed robbery, kidnapping, and assault. The screwdriver from the toolkit was taken as evidence, and we teased my tech for the next few years. You get your screwdriver back yet? She came in for $2,000 and left with 5 to 10. She spent 4 years in prison. As an assault victim in that state, they notified me when she got out. Karen doesn't understand how franchising works. In my late teens, I worked at a popular Canadian coffee and donut shop named after a former NHL player. I'll call it Trevor Linden's. There are many throughout my town, but I worked at one particular one near the waterfront. One day, I took my grandfather to the clinic for his weekly checkups. I didn't like waiting around the office, so I went down to Trevor Linden's by there, got a coffee, and started reading a magazine waiting for his call that he was done and ready to go back home. I was in no way wearing my uniform or anything similar to it, but one Karen knew me from my location and began trying to get my attention as the line was too long and they were a bit backed up. When I looked up, she swept the table with her hand, knocking over my coffee and some papers I had spread out, and said, "Break's over." I said, "Freak you which," though I probably wasn't as polite. I wasn't done with that. She said, "You work for Trevor Linden's, you've helped me before, get off your lazy butt and help out here," and proceeded to give me her order. The manager and an employee came over and asked what was going on there. The employee began cleaning up my coffee from the floor, while Karen told the manager, "Your employee needs to be helping rather than sitting here, drinking coffee and reading." The manager said, "She doesn't work here. She can't help you with anything," to which Karen said, "Bull spit, she helps me all the time at the waterfront location." The manager said, "That's nice, but this is the downtown location, she doesn't work here." When the employee finished cleaning up, the manager told him to get me another coffee and Karen blew up even more. "What the hell for? She should be working, she's a Trevor Linden's employee. She should be helping me." The manager said, "Yes, she may work at Trevor Linden's, but not this one. Right now, she's just a customer. If you can't be civil, I'll have to ask you to leave." Karen fumed but returned to her seat, and I thought it was over as the employee brought me another coffee. Side note, I have a pretty complicated coffee order and I was impressed the employee got it right without asking me what it was. Maybe he found my receipt or order slip or something, but he got it correct the first time. I couldn't have done that without help. But it gets better. I was at my location a few days later when Karen came in and got in line. When she got to me, I recognized her, but slapped on my happy customer service face and said, "Welcome to Trevor Linden's. How may I help you?" She said, "Get me your manager." She was out for blood. I continued smiling, said sure thing, and went in the back and got him. He asked her what the problem was and she said, "Your employee here wouldn't take my order and was disrespectful to me." My manager said, "Sure thing, what may I get for you?" acting as if she had meant right here, right now. Karen said, "No, not here, at the downtown location a couple of days ago." My manager said, "She doesn't work there, why did you expect her to help you?" Karen said, "She's an employee of Trevor Linden's, it's her duty to help all customers at every Linden's location." My manager said, "That's another franchise. We may all be Trevor Linden's, but that's a different location. She has no responsibilities there. Now is there something I can get you here?" Karen snorted, turned on her heel, and marched out the doors. I was more willing to help out and volunteer for that manager after that. Trevor Linden was my dad's favorite player growing up, so that's why I picked that name. A crazy woman demanded to get me fired because I refused to sell her skinny jeans. Background info: my name is Sean. This story happened at Walmart in January of this year. I used to work at Walmart in September, but I quit to go work at my sister's donut shop. At Walmart I worked at the register. I would see this woman from time to time. I ended up being good friends with her. She was chill to me and most people all the time, and she was just really cool in general. We would hang out after my shift sometimes and I loved being around her. Alright, now to the main story. In January I was at Walmart looking for a Lego set I've been trying to get for a little less than a year. When suddenly, for the sake of this story we'll call her Karen. Karen walks up to me. "Hey Sean, it's been a week or two since we last talked." She would randomly pop up out of nowhere and scare me like that. This was one of those times. "Oh hey, it is Dash." She quickly interrupted me, which was weird since she would usually let me speak first, but I thought nothing of it since we've known each other for so long. "So I found these amazing skinny jeans that I need so badly. But they don't have it in my size. Can you go check the back for me?" She was talking in one of those snobby Karen voices you would hear in an MK video. "Oh, sorry Karen, but I quit my job last month." With that annoying Karen voice, she said. "Ha ha. You've always been so funny, Sean. But for real though, can you check the back and see if you guys have this in a size 18? Karen seemed off today and this confused me because she has always been really happy. "Oh, I'm not joking. I did quit last month after Black Friday. I can't handle that many people." I don't know if something just clicked in her head, but she just went off on me for no reason at all. "Alright Sean, enough jokes. If you don't get these jeans in my size I will get the manager and have you fired and banned from all Walmarts." She was causing a scene and I could even see somebody recording from afar. Karen has never yelled at anybody that I've seen, so this was confusing and kinda scary for me. "Whoa Karen, calm down, I don't work here anymore. Why else would I not be in uniform?" Which she responded with, "Well, maybe it's because you're just trying to pull a prank on other people." Well, guess what Sean? It is not funny, and I'm gonna get the manager. At this point I'm just standing in the toy aisle, completely confused, and embarrassed by all the people staring at me. A few moments later my old manager came with Karen. Let's call him Bob. Now Bob was the best manager ever. We would hang out any chance we got, but after I quit we kinda slowed down. We're still in touch though. Here he is. "Hey Sean. Bob is here to fire you." Bob came up to me and said, "Hey, Sean. It's been a while, you doing good?" "Yeah, I broke my arm a while back, but other than that I'm fine." Karen looked shook and so confused, which kinda made to cackle a bit. Bob told Karen, "Hey lady, Sean quit last month, so he doesn't work here anymore." Of course, Karen's hate being denied, so she said, "Even the manager is in on the prank? I have been out of here." Karen stormed out, and after that, I never heard from her again. This whole situation was so weird and out of character for Karen, so I'm still kinda confused about why she flipped out on me. If she sees these posts, chances are she is gonna sue me for harassment. Also, I'm pretty sure she stole the skinny jeans that weren't even her size. Nor were they the proper size for skinny jeans. Edit: a ton of people are confused about how my arm magically healed so fast, but before when the story takes place, I was able to get my cast taken off since it had been 4.5 weeks since I broke my arm. Without my cast, it wasn't too obvious that my arm was broken. Hope this clears things up. Lady calls me a slur, but I just have debilitating anxiety. Obligatory disclaimer that I am on mobile, so like, excuse any errors and whatnot. Also, this is my first post, so if there's anything wrong please let me know and I will fix it. Relevant background: 26-old female has severe social anxiety and is formally diagnosed with agoraphobia. I started going out less and less, then COVID hit so I stopped going out at all. When this happened 2 months ago, I had been on meds and in virtual therapy for only about a month after not leaving my house for 2 years. Part of my therapy is getting out of the house a little bit at a time, and this was my first trip out to a real public place. Okay, so my bestie 25-year-old female knows all about my agoraphobia struggles and has attended a few of my virtual therapy sessions so she could be my support system. She suggested we try to go do something, and we decided on making a quick trip to one of the little neighborhood marts of Walls. We made it through the store with minimal panic, but I was feeling overwhelmed by the checkout situation. We opted for self-checkout, but I was still trying to be independent, so I asked her to wait by the exit, which is right at the end of the self-checkout section, so she wasn't far. So there I was, minding my own business, scanning and bagging, when this lady, in her 40s maybe, had a lot of mascara goop in the corners of her eyes and was wearing those foam platform flip-flops like it was 1999, if that tells you anything, came up behind me and tapped on my shoulder. I turned around and all she said was, "My station is messed up," before immediately walking back to her register. I didn't realize she thought I worked there. I was wearing gym shorts and a pink shirt, so it's not like I was dressed like an employee, so I turned back around to my register and start to pay for my items. A few seconds later she comes up behind me again, grabs my arm, and says, "Excuse me?" I said, "My station is messed up." I was frozen. I had no idea what to do and couldn't think of any words, so I just kind of stared at her, in her mascara goop, trying to calm myself down. I wasn't trying to be rude, I was genuinely panicking and trying not to have an entire breakdown in the middle of the self-checkout. She starts raising her voice at me, saying, "My station is messed up. It is not working. I need it to be fixed. How else do I need to say it for you to help me?" I was so anxious I thought I was going to throw up. "If you know, you know." And she continues with, "What is your problem? All I need you to do is swipe your little card. This is a self-checkout. Your only job is to make sure the stations are working." At this point, everyone around us had turned to watch the show, and my bestie, having seen my obvious distress, came up to my register. She immediately recognized what was going on and very calmly said, "Ma'am, she doesn't work here." I swear you would have thought she had just slapped this lady in the face or something. The lady starts yelling at us. She could have said that the first time instead of staring at me like a R-word, our term for a special needs person. Was I supposed to read your mind? I still hadn't said a single word. I could feel my face burning and my eyes filling with tears. It was not good. Bestie immediately steps up and yells back at the woman, "Why would you assume someone in gym clothes is on duty at Martwell? What about her using her self-checkout register would lead you to believe she is working right now?" Bestie grabbed my card out of the machine. Yes, that annoying remove card beep had been going off for what felt like forever, picked up the bags and the receipt, and told me to come on. I followed her out and turned back to see the lady standing in the same spot, just staring at us as we walked out. I know the altercation was partly my fault because I didn't just explain that I didn't work there in the beginning, but also, what kind of person comes up to an employee and grabs them out of nowhere, then calls a stranger a slur because they made a mistake? Edit, Holy Moses, I didn't expect so many people to interact with this post. Thank you all for your kind words and support. I just want to add a few things based on the comments. I am very aware that going to Martwell was a bad decision. You know, hindsight or whatever. I have not been back since that day, but I have continued with my journey in much smaller steps. I stated I know the altercation was partly my fault, and almost every single comment has corrected me. I did feel that way because I felt like I should have de-escalated the situation, whether I owed it to her or not, but all of you are right. I should never have even been in the situation in the first place because she shouldn't have started it.